Most Australians live a normal and healthy lifestyle, but this is not the case for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, whom, according to statistics, have a 10 to 17 year less lifespan than the normal Australians. The National Close the Gap Day sees thousands of actions taking place all across the country, calling for the federal and state governments to provide better health equality for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples.
So I'm the chairperson for the Aboriginal Health Council of West Australia. So my role is elected and I represent 22 Aboriginal community controlled health services throughout the state. So I act as the overall negotiator with the parliamentarians around policy advocacy on behalf of Aboriginal investment funding going into the appropriate community control sector. The Aboriginal Health Council were invited to sit with the West Australian Labor Party prior to the election to assist with their Aboriginal health policy. We felt that the commitment by the WA Labor Party was certainly being of good intentions to ensure that equality to Aboriginal health service delivery to Aboriginal people is going to be accessible across all levels, and that we are available to assist and govern some of those service deliveries to ensure that accountability and transparency through other service provision ensure that we equip our community services to also engage effectively with our people on behalf of our people. Look, ACWA has certainly been heavily involved with the Oxfam to campaign around the close of the gap and getting better equality and access to services in isolated areas. The population of Aboriginal people and the demand and the unmet needs, particularly in some of our more rural areas, particularly in the southwest, where there's a number of gaps and unmet needs being addressed. We fully support the campaign around closing the gap, and we also know that our community controlled sector are successful in closing the gap because we deliver a holistic, culturally appropriate health service.
Hi, I'm Marissa from Bindi Dreaming. I started my business in 2014 and we do a lot of delivery around cultural presentations, cultural workshops and just really showcasing Noongar history and culture out to the wider community and interested people. Once people know and understand, because it's never happened before, we've never had that opportunity to showcase who we are, and just having a night like this where we get to share our wealth of knowledge is a greater step to creating better relations in this country. And I think we have a lot of young people that need to know and understand about Aboriginal culture and history and the wider community. Today the health of our Aboriginal people is really poor, so bringing back a lot of the access to country and a lot of access to our native herbs and spices actually adds value to the health of our system. So a lot of those really old diseases that we have actually cures in the way of eating back our proper food, like kangaroo, like emu, like goanna, like fish, like our seeds and our fruits and our berries, just like quandong, who have a high number of vitamin C properties in it. So that actually contributes back to the health of our people. We partner with Oxfam and the campaign tonight, so Closing the Gap, because Paddy's out there in the forefront doing a lot of the community stuff with the grassroots people. So in my role in Closing the Gap is actually working with a lot of the people that are in the city and the suburbia, so actually knowing and understanding about Aboriginal people here. So even though the remote community have different issues to what we do in the city, it's still bringing those two together. So that's why working with Oxfam is a really good opportunity to expose that to everybody.
This Close the Gap banner has the handprint of every single state parliamentarian from the lower house to the upper house, from the Premier to all the cabinet ministers to every single backbencher in Western Australia, every Green senator, every Labor senator. It shows that there is a cross-party support for this campaign. And people are happy to put their hand up and say they do want to see the gap closed. But now we've got to take the campaign from the symbolic to the practical. The most important thing that the government can do is listen to Aboriginal communities and plan in partnership with them. It's very important to close the gap that communities are part of the process of closing the gap. They should be at the centre of their own development. They should be the ones making the decisions, making the planning, and where possible, delivering the services to their own communities.
This is Michael So reporting for Undercurrent.